So what is this thing called plagiarism? How do you avoid it, and why is it so bad to do it in the first place? In short, plagiarism is taking somebody else's ideas and passing them off as your own. Or, in other words, it's stealing. And now that everybody can be a content creator, everybody can be plagiarized. People can steal your artwork from DeviantArt, or pictures that you have posted online and use them for an ad or something. You probably wouldn't like it if somebody made a poster with your art on it and then didn't tell you about it or pay you for it. But this happens to a lot of people. Unlike most misdeeds, you don't need to be a nefarious person to plagiarize. In fact, you can plagiarize simply by accident. But you still have to deal with the consequences. So let's take a quick look at Mercyhurst's academic honesty policies. Let's see here. This part says that you basically need to do your homework, but you already knew that. That's really important. This here means that you're not supposed to cheat on your tests, and I'm sure you already knew that too, right? But what about this bit here that talks about standards of citation to avoid plagiarism? Or providing full and accurate citations, giving credit. Well, that's really what it all is. You need to provide citations for anything that you've paraphrased, the way that I'm paraphrasing these words now. And it's all about giving the original author credit. And if you do commit plagiarism or help somebody else do it, then you could receive an automatic F. Or worse.
Let's look at the bright side. Citations are useful. For instance, you should never cite Wikipedia as a source, but most good wiki articles have citations that you can use to find original resources that aren't garbage. The more citations you have in your Works Cited page, the better researched your paper probably is. And how do you make these citations? Well, it depends on which citation style you're using. There are many different citation styles, but what they all have in common is that you need to remember where you got your stuff in the first place. Fortunately, you usually don't have to make the decision as to which one you want to use, because your professor will tell you which one they want you to use. But your citations are just a list of ingredients. You still need to put it all together to make the cookies. But how do you do that? One way is to paraphrase the information from the source, which means to put it in your own words. Remember what I was doing with those policies earlier? I interpreted them and then put them into my own words. I paraphrased them. Depending on what citation style you're using, you can indicate what information came from where by putting citations in the text or putting the author's name in parentheses. Sometimes you might want to quote a source directly. These should be used sparingly because it's like having a witness or an expert come testify in court for your case. You want to use good sources that your listeners will find credible, or if you're making a counter-argument to something, you can cross-examine that source to show its flaws. How you put the quote into your text depends, again, on your citation style, but also on how long the quote is. To help it flow better, you might want to make a quote sandwich, where you introduce the quote, and then put the quote in as the actual meat, and then follow it up with an interpretation or an explanation of the quote. After all, this is your paper and you have your own voice. Your resources shouldn't suppress your ideas. Instead, they should support your ideas.